Well, I thought we got off to a really good start. Really proud of our guys, the way we responded after our last outing. We challenged our guys, and I was really happy with their effort and their execution, especially in the first half. I thought, I had seen, FAMU play several games, and I like their size. I like their capability to shoot the basketball and also drive it. I thought our guys did a good job of defending the three as well as limiting them in the paint, especially in the first half.
Coach, when you play a team, Charlie's trying to build a program, but, you're a member of the Big 12, you're a member of the SWAC. So what do you kind of take away from a game like this against, an outmatched opponent?
Well, it's the mindset that you have to have when you go out there. And I always say you respect your opponent no matter what level they play at because everybody has good players now. There's a lot of parity in college basketball, and you need to make sure you go out there and give a winning effort because if you're not going to be deserving of winning, and you probably won't. So I thought our guys came out there and they had the right mindset. They respected, FAMU, and I thought they gave a winning effort, and that's what you wanted to see happen. Along with that, I wanted to see our guys, really execute some of the things defensively that we had to do. And for ourselves, the understanding that this game was not just about getting a win, but how do we get better? And I thought, some things we did today were better than we had been doing the last several times we've stepped on the court.
Coach, we were speaking with Dave in Cambridge after the game. You said holding a team under 50 points is considered a masterclass for you. Obviously, they scored 60. You said you weren't too pleased that they went over 10 points over the 50. But what did you take out of their defensive effort?
I thought they had a really good defensive effort, especially for probably 25 minutes of the game. And that's what I've been challenging our guys, over the last, several weeks. Is this a 40-minute game? And we have to understand the importance of playing all 40 like we do 25 or 20. I think I've come in here several times and said, we've had a good 30 minutes or we had a good 25 minutes. I don't want to keep coming here saying that. I want to string together 40 minutes of UCF basketball, and that means staying focused and locked in for the entirety of the game. And that's something that we have to work towards with this group.
Coach, you talked on a good start, and they never let the Rattlers lead in this entire game, as well as you guys had your least amount of fouls this season. So 3 games in, what can you say about this team's discipline?
I think it's getting better. I'm still disappointed. We fouled a few jump shooters. Those are things we can't do. Those are things that I don't think are disciplined. When we're doing things like fouling jump shooters or not in the right positions at times that we've practiced, those are things I challenge them with when we'll watch tape and we'll show them how we can get better from those plays that we made. But all in all, I thought they did have the discipline. We defended well for the most part without fouling as much, which is what we were trying to do. And those are things we can still build on.
Coach, despite the big win, UCF once again had double-digit turnovers, this time 16. Is that something that you're trying to zero in on in practice?
Absolutely. And for me, it's the type of turnovers. We have to do a better job of having unforced turnovers, which means you can turn the ball over at times. It's a tough game, and there are a lot of things happening out there. But you want to make sure that if you do turn it over, they really created the turnover. Unforced turnover is really they didn't really create it. You maybe tried to do a little too much, or you maybe forced to play, and you turned the ball over. And so those are the ones that we really want to avoid. And we want to avoid live ball turnovers at all costs as much as possible because live ball turnovers leads to easy, fast break points. And so the more you can, if you turn it over, like I always tell our players, and they'll tell you, I say, look, if you kick it in the stands, I'll feel better about you turning it over than when you turn it over in live play because at least we can set our defense up if you kicked it in the stands. So they hear me say that pretty much every week. So it's something that we try to concentrate on is taking care of the basketball. We don't want to turn it over, and if we do turn it over, we don't want it to be live ball turnovers.
Coach, what was the difference between FAMU's offense in the first half and the second half? Was it something that they were doing, or was it something your guys were doing defensively?
Well, I always, side with the first thing. Is something that they were doing. I thought they spaced it a little bit better. They moved the basketball a little bit quicker, and it provided them a little bit more space and time to get shots off. It's something we have to clean up defensively, but I give them credit for that. They made some adjustments in the second half, and I thought they were more effective at what they were doing. And that's where we have to step up and understand, okay, what do we have to do now to kind of slow them down and take those things away that they're doing now? And we have to be better at that.
So then what can you do then to help your players respond to stuff like that, changes in mid-game like that defensively?
One, it starts with mindset again. Our guys' attitude has got to be, you have to dig down deep. You have to bring the intensity. You have to bring that competitive desire to stop guys and slow them down. Because once guys starts making shots, it's hard to stop them at that point in time. So you have to try to do your best. One, not to let them get going. If they get going, then you have to muster up the effort, the intensity to try to cut their water off, to try to slow them down is what you have to do. And in FAMU, they got up. They got going in the second half and started making shots. And any team, when they start making shots, that feeds confidence. And like I said, everyone has good players. There's no one in college that isn't good anymore. I mean, it's just so much parity. These guys grew up playing AAU ball in elementary school, they play middle school, high school. They play against each other so much. There's not a player that they face that they probably hadn't seen somewhere before. So there's a familiarity which breeds a little bit of being comfortable playing against your opponent every night. And when I played, you didn't see everyone every night. You saw a guy only maybe when you played him. These kids are seeing each other all the time from elementary school. So it's a different world that they're living in and competing in. And so therefore, everybody has good players.
97 points, but only 3 players in double figures. At this stage in your team's development, how important is it to have that kind of scoring balance and to see this team share and move the ball the way that they did?
We always looking at our guys playing the right way. We always talk about making connecting plays, and like I said, it turns up in our assist number a lot of times. And in 24 assists, I'm very proud of our guys, because that means they really connected with each other very well. And it's going to be different guys' nights. Like tonight, I thought Carmelo, he came in and gave us a huge lift off the bench. He was a spark for us. I mean, a few games ago, I think George did the same thing for us. And so, we have guys that can come in and contribute in that way, which helps us out a great deal. I think guys who've been, steadfast for us, Riley Kugler has been, one of our leaders, offensively. I think he's done a very good job of that for us. I think Jordan Burks has done a good job for us, too, as far as another guy out there that we've kind of leaned on offensively. And he didn't have maybe a great night tonight, but, he's shown signs in other games and in practice that he can be one of those guys for us as well.
You got to win. This one's over. Big road test on Friday.
Yes, absolutely. It's next play for us, so we'll start preparing tonight for Texas A&M. We know they're a terrific program. They have a new coach, so I haven't seen them play yet, so I'm looking forward to start studying them. But great opportunity for our guys again, and that's what you want to do. You want to be in these games. We have a lot of games coming fast for us, but that's exciting. I'm sure they'd rather do that than practice if you ask them. So we're looking forward to competing against Texas A&M down in Texas.
Coach, what's it like to coach against another former NBA player where fans love it, media loves it, and it's kind of neat to look at? What's it like to go through those experiences? We got an opportunity to see it tonight.
Well, it's always exciting for me. I love to compete. And, of course, Charlie was a great competitor, a multi-sport competitor. So I don't think they make many like him anymore. Even back when we were coming up, they didn't make many like him. So, what a terrific, player he was, both in football and basketball. And he's a terrific coach, watching what he's doing. He has a long NBA career, over a decade, long career in the NBA. He's had the NBA, work experience up there as well, and now he's in college. I think college is better off having a guy like him here, being that, he'll bring so much to these young people on and off the court with the lessons he can teach them. And so I love to see that. And I love to see him continue to develop his team as he builds. I think his team's going to have a lot of success.
Coach, we've seen this team shoot the 3-ball pretty well this season. They came in as the 12th best shooting team, but today was especially great. Can you talk us through some of the looks that your team is getting and how that 3-ball can really affect your season?
Well, I think our guys are doing a really good job of moving the basketball. They're sharing it. I think we space the floor very well. And our guys have confidence in each other. The ball kind of finds the right guys, and that's what you want to see happen. And it's not nothing that we're designing other than we run whatever we run, we execute it, but then move the basketball and search out a great shot. And I think our guys have been doing that. They've been sharing it, and they've been searching out great shots. And therefore, I think our percentages has gone up because of the type of shots that we're able to take.
And especially, Carmelo today leading the team in scoring. He's an excellent three-point shooter. How has his arrival to the team kind of helped the offense?
Anytime you can recruit a young man like Carmelo who shoots the ball that well, we were very excited that he committed to us because we thought he fit our system very well. The way he shoots the basketball, he spaces the floor. We've had guys like Matt Williams and have success for us. When I first got here, we had my son Aubrey Dawkins who shot the ball very well. We had guys that were capable shooters, and so he's in line with some guys that we felt were very good shooters and really helped our program. And we feel that Carmelo can be one of those guys for us as well.
How much do you think your team's success this year will depend on this consistency that you guys have had so far through 3 games behind the three-point line?
Well, I think it's going to be important. That's where the game has gone now. The three-point shot is so important now in our game, just analytically. And so, not that we want to go out there and search out taking a lot of them. We want to take the right ones, but when we take them, we want to be confident that we can knock them down. And we have some players that have shown the ability to knock down shots. And so we want to build on that. Like I said, we now have a team that, I don't know how many threes we took tonight, but we took 23s out of 65 shots, so not even 20% of our shots, really were, not even 30% of our shots really were threes. And so a lot of times you look at teams now in rosters, they 40, 45%, in some cases 50% of their shots are threes. That's not what we really do, but, when we have them, we want to be confident that we can take them and knock them down.
Last question.
Coach, did you play high school football?
I did not.
Okay, so I was saying, do you think you could have played both like Charlie did? You just talked about what a great athlete he was.
True, my goal, I wanted to be a football player before I wanted to be a basketball player, that's for sure. I wanted to be a wide receiver. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for me. But you know what? I found my calling. I found basketball, and I've loved it ever since.
Did you have a question?
Coach, with 12 different players scoring a basket tonight, what does that do for your team when you're able to distribute the scoring across the board like that?
Well, I think it's great. You have to remember, everybody works so hard this summer, this fall, and to have an opportunity to get out there and to contribute, and no matter what, everyone wants to see the ball go in at some point in time when you play this sport, and so to see, to see it, 12 guys have an opportunity to make shots and contribute in that way, it's good. It's good for your team morale because everyone feels a sense of, yeah, hey, I contributed, scoring wise as well, and so we want to keep our guys, understanding the importance of we're all in this together. So we have a chance, to, like even with Pooh at the end of the game, to come in and and make plays and contribute. That's great because everyone does the same thing in practice. Everyone's working. Everyone's doing the same thing with the same obligations off the court. And so everyone's committed. And so to have an opportunity to get out there and contribute at the end, is always great. So that's one of my, happiest times is at the end of a game. One, because usually we're probably up pretty good. And two, because, you want to see guys get rewarded for what they do, for us on a daily basis.
Coach, I think one thing that we've been able to take away these first 3 games is the depth at guard at this team. We've had different nights where George Beal's taking some shots, and then Chris Johnson, and now Carmelo Pacheco, as well as having Riley Kugel and Themis Folks. What does that depth do for a team, especially when you go into conference play and you have to go through a lot of the guards?
Well, you know what? We're versatile, and all these guards bring a little bit something different. And so it allows us to do different things against different opponents that we'll face. And with that, I'm confident in all those players, recruit them with the understanding that they all are good at what they did. And so having seen them now playing for us and seeing them, make these contributions, I'm glad we were able to, of course, recruit these young men, and they decide to come here because they can help us as we move forward through the season as they get more comfortable in our system and more comfortable in knowing exactly what I want from them.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Hot shooting night like you had tonight.
It felt good, but I give all the credit to my teammates. Every day they're encouraging me, to keep shooting. And, I was just ready for my moment, and they were finding me tonight. And I was just knocking them down.
Coming off of a loss like that to Vanderbilt, what does a dominant win like this do for confidence? Either one of you.
Oh, either one. Okay. Our focus tonight was defense. We were trying to keep them under 50, but we didn't do that. But our focus was defensively today, and better communication, and that it was a lot better today. We were finally open the man, playing together, hunting for each other, and. Yeah, it definitely helps. But, we got a tough one coming up on Friday, so, we're going to prepare for that.
Aim to keep them under 50.
Yeah.
You guys gave up 60. Was Johnny still okay with that?
No. Yeah.
Going into this next matchup, what's like one of the main takeaways from this game that you guys are going to apply to practice before going into a hostile environment in TAMU?
Really defensively, we got to get after them, and then we just got to continue to play together like we did tonight.
And I played there before, like a couple times, so it's gonna be a hostile environment. You know, we're gonna have to stay together. You know, remain humble. You know, play together defensively. You know, they got some known name players, so we're just gonna have to, be on our best game. You know, come out on top.
We saw Vandy knocking down all those threes last game, and this game you guys held them to only 6 made threes.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned, how much you guys worked on defense. How much of that was specifically three-point shooting?
It was a lot. You know, that was the main focus last game, but like I was a victim of one of those three. I was like, Coach, I didn't know he was gonna shoot it from that far. And he was like, well, you can't shoot that far, but he can. So it was a little. So we had to focus on that. You know, take that seriously because we can't give up that many threes. You know, first half I think it was 10 threes. And that's the main focus. That's a lot of points, and that should never happen. So that was a big focus for the last 2 days of practice.
After that first half, you held FAMU to 20, on pace to meet Coach Dawkins' goal of under 50. What was different about FAMU there in the second half, facing them for both of you?
I would say we lost focus, kind of. We were playing to score, which we shouldn't have been doing, and. Like I think Coach called it a masterpiece when you keep them under 50. So that was we came out with that mindset, but we didn't do that. And we got to go back to the drawing board and focus more on that and not play the score because at the end of the day we're gonna play a lot tougher teams, and that has to be the main focus defensively because offensive we've been going, but if we can't guard, we can't win.
Yeah, just give them credit. They came out aggressive. We came out sleeping in the second half. They punched us in the mouth. But, we just got to come out ready to go next time.
Devin, maybe we're still making too much of this at this point, but what does a game like this do for helping you guys kind of learn how to play together and kind of continue to build that kind of team, camaraderie and build like playing as a team in a real game?
It definitely helps. Like I told our strength coach, he's gonna hit 5 threes a day, so that was my main focus and getting him some shots. So like I'm trying to do everything for my teammates, and that it's energy and it transfers to everybody. So if you got guys doing that, everybody wants to play together. So I think we did a lot better than we've been doing. That's been a focus as well, like playing together, find the open man, pushing it ahead, and a lot of guys made some shots tonight, and everybody, when you're scoring, everybody's happy. So I think everybody got on the board tonight that played. So that was good for us.
It's still very early into the season, but it was the most threes that you guys made in the 3 games so far. What was working for you guys behind the arc, and specifically you, Carmelo, in the second half, knocking down a couple threes to
Carmelo Pacheco.
Just like Devin said, really just finding the open man. Like a couple times in the first half, we would over-penetrate and, we wouldn't kick it out to the man that was open. But, as the half went on, we really started to find guys that were open. And then in the second half, guys started finding me, and, I was just knocking them down.
Building off of that, you guys, the first 3 games have, shot the ball very well from behind the 3-point line. So what's working from a shot creation standpoint, from an execution standpoint to see these results consistently game after game?
I would say we do this thing called, nice shooting, driving, and kicking, just finding open, just making plays for each other. And, just making, like, I could have took some shots, but he's, 40%, 45% last year, better shooter than me. So, just find those guys that can make those shots and have confidence in them. When you knock one down, you might knock 10 more down. So you just got to find those guys and be happy for one another. And, stuff like that will happen, like happened tonight.
Devin, your past 2 seasons, you haven't played much due to injury. So how good does it feel to be back healthy and playing such a big role on this team?
I feel amazing. I've been working my butt off to come back. I'll say it feels good. It feels amazing to just be back and just being with my teammates, like just traveling, just doing simple things, not even being on the court. Like I just like being around my team. I wasn't even around my team last year. I had just went home and rehabbed, and so it just feels good to be back with my brothers. Gonna have an amazing season, big season, and
You kind of mentioned it before. Everybody on the court scored, including Pooh, especially late at the game. It was 12 guys scored on the team today. What does that do for confidence and overall team morale, especially going on the roads for a tough game?
I think it really just shows that, you know, it could be one dude's night this night, and the next night it could be this dude's night. So, you know, it really just shows how deep we are as a team. And, you know, like I said earlier, just being confident in one another and trusting in each other, and, you know, that'll take us.
How do you think you can build on this confidence?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, how do you think you build on this confidence from here on out?
Really just staying ready for my moment. I know teams are going to be hugging me. So, you know, whenever I get an open look, just have the confidence to knock it down.
You just talked about, 12 players making a bucket tonight. I know Riley has been very great leading you guys in scoring the past couple of games, but how can you, keep something like this going as the season goes on for a more diverse offensive effort?
I would say Riley's gonna be the guy every night. So that's our guy. He's gonna be the go-to, and like he said, every night it's gonna be somebody different. So you never know whatever their game plan is defensively, whoever the open guy is, like that's who's gonna be. It's gonna be their night. But I expect Riley Kugel to be, that's the go-to guy.
Carmelo, we saw you let the ball fly the most in this game than you have all season. Are you trying to get more shots throughout as the season goes on?
I'm just trying to stay aggressive. Like I said earlier, just staying ready for my moment. And like Devin said, whoever's open that night,